So, someone just asked me, uh, how can we as black people change, quote unquote, black people change? And the answer is really very simple. And all it takes is a decision for each individual to decide that they're going to do the right thing and have good intentions for fellow people and their fellow nationality, and to stop dividing. The answer is to have strong uh, family families. If you're Unless you have agreed to have a polygamous relationship, if you're cheating, that's not a strong relationship. You're dishonoring each other, you're betraying each other. And we've been indoctrinated to do so. We've been indoctrinated not to have strong family connections. And this is one of the biggest things. And that's the simple answer. And so that means that each man, each woman has to actually take the time, get to know somebody, and see whether or not they can build a life with that person. It shouldn't just be about having your loins satisfied. That's not what a strong family is about. And yes, that is the exception and not the rule. It has worked for some people, but that doesn't work for most people. We also have to let go of this thing of control. Again, that's indoctrination. We've been indoctrinated that this is how it's supposed to be. And that if a woman doesn't submit and bow down and make me feel like I'm on the pedestal, then it's not going to work. That's arrogance. That's ego. That's not a strong family, because if she's better at something, allow her to lead in that area. If you're better at something, then you lead in that area. But thinking that you should just have total control because you're a man is silly. It's unrealistic. And so you're not choosing women. You're not choosing women because she's educated or she makes more money than me. But together, how much do you make together? You're supposed to look at it as a whole and not yourself as an individual. That's part of the indoctrination. You're only focused on yourself, and you're making it something that it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be about solely what you bring to the table, and because you make less money, then she's not good enough, or you're scared to talk to her. That's not how that's supposed to go. Because again, we've been indoctrinated to, and this has been going on for a long time. They put the woman on the pedestal because the powers that be, they want to have sex with her, right? So they tell you, oh, you're not good enough because you just got that little job and you don't make enough money to provide and take care of her. So you shouldn't do it at all. Just find somebody who's weak and doesn't want to build and doesn't want to grow, so you can have a weak family structure and not do anything but go to the liquor store, go buy out to eat, and buy a bunch of nonsense that you're going to throw in the garbage on holidays and birthdays and anniversaries, and just give us all your money. Pay your bills, have a little house or apartment, and just be satisfied with that. Don't build anything. Don't have a strong family. Just cheat on each other because there's more women than men anyway. And let that be the reason. Whereas other nationalities don't operate that way. Other nationalities, it's a disgrace if you don't get married. And there was a time in America where we used to operate the same way. But that has long since changed. And it's challenging for us to get back to it because we have strayed so far away from it. But again, all it takes is a decision. Even if someone was promiscuous in the past, they can decide that they don't want to be that way anymore. They can decide to do the right thing. It's all about integrity. It's all about respect. It's all about being faithful and loyal. And faithfulness and loyalty, some people use them interchangeably. Some people feel like they're two separate things. Sometimes men think, loyalty and faithfulness is one thing and women think it's another. But it all boils down to integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody else is looking. And a lot of people don't like to do that, right? Because we've been, again, indoctrinated and conditioned that that's weak, or that it's stupid, and all the different things, right? But if you betray somebody, now you have a lack of trust in that relationship. So you can't have a strong family connection. It's really simple. It's really basic. It's not rocket science. All it takes is for each individual to decide to do better and be better and operate accordingly. It's not going to happen overnight, but each decision, every day, this is something that you would never stop doing. It would be a decision that you have to make every day of your life, in every moment of your life. Well, once we have strong families, we can grow. But again, we're indoctrinated not to have that. We're indoctrinated to date outside our race and give our power and our resources to other nationalities. And they continue to carry on the family lineage. Whereas we're just simply buying luxury items, or what we perceive to be luxury items. It's all the same stuff. It comes from the same factories in China or Mexico. It's just that, certain companies will charge more for the same product. Maybe the jeans have extra rivets or pockets or something like that. But those same Wrangler jeans that you can buy from Walmart is the same jeans that True Religion or whatever other company. It's the same cotton that comes from the same ground. Just one might have rhinestones on it, or maybe extra stitching, maybe extra cotton. So you rather pay $50 for a t-shirt when you can get the same quality of t-shirt for way less. But again, we've been indoctrinated that that's what makes us powerful and strong, having luxury items as opposed to a strong family bond. It's not rocket science, people. It just takes a decision to do the right thing. And when you meet somebody, you have to discern whether or not that person truly has the intention to do the right thing, or if they're just being manipulative and playing mind games in the meantime until they feel like they've got you where they want you, and then they'll flip and change on you after 3, 4, even 5 years. The people who have healthy relationships, they have made the decision that this is what we're doing together, and we're going to keep focusing on it together, and we're going to work on it together. If a problem comes up, they talk about it. They don't avoid it. A lot of people like to avoid the hard conversation, right? It's okay if you think differently. Nobody has to think exactly the way that you think. That's what makes us different. That's how we learn from one another. And if somebody thinks differently from you, hey, I don't know where you're going with that, but I just have a different thought. But also be willing to hear them out, because sometimes you don't even know where a person is going with it. Because a lot of times people hear one thing and they immediately interrupt you and they start talking over you and asking questions, and they haven't even listened to what you're saying. That's called active listening. When you're quiet while the person is talking, you let them explain. As soon as they say, oh, the sky is blue. Well, why you say the sky? They didn't even finish saying blue, and you already talking. It's so sad that so many people have such a short attention span, they can't even listen. And then if you say something they disagree with, they interrupt you. So now both of y'all talking and you're talking over each other because nobody's listening. And then if you're quiet, Because now you acknowledge, okay, this person interrupted me. I'm going to go ahead and let them talk. So then then they start over talking, right? They talk about 10 different things because they don't want to hear what you say. They're doing it intentionally. They don't want to hear what you're talking about because they know it's the truth deep down. They just don't want to hear it. So they start over talking you. And a lot of times you'll sit there, you're quiet, you're patient, you let them talk, right? Then as soon as you get ready to say what you started saying, they'll interrupt you again, or they'll change the subject. Hey, good morning. Good afternoon. We mistreat each other. We treat one another horribly. And then we wonder why we don't have strong relationships and why we can't get along. That is why. We mistreat one another. And that something like that seems like it's so simple, but not listening is one of the biggest problems we have. As soon as somebody disagrees with what we say or what we're thinking, we feel like we got to go off. Instead of trying to be patient, being compassionate and empathetic to what they're saying, even trying to have an understanding of what they're saying. It's horrible. And then when they talk about the person behind their back, oh, I didn't want to hear that. Why didn't you say that to that person? And why can't you listen? Because they're telling you the truth and you don't want to change? That's how we dishonor one another. So again, all it takes is a decision to do the right thing. And if you don't want to do the right thing, you can't wonder why you're attracting other people who don't want to do the right thing. Because we typically attract who we are and not what we want. Right? So if you're coming with the intention to be manipulative or to use this person for something, guess what? They're probably doing the same thing. And so now nobody has good intentions. The intention is only to get what I want, because most people are selfish and they're only thinking about themselves and what they want out of the situation. And they're not trying to come together collectively to work together to build. And then they wonder why it doesn't work out. How could you possibly wonder why it didn't work out when you didn't have good intentions to begin with? Neither one of you. It's all about intentions. And all it takes is a decision to do the right thing. You decide as an individual, every day I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to stop my ways, thoughts, and actions that do not serve a good purpose in my life and the life of others. Because being deceptive does not serve a good purpose. And eventually, it comes back around to you. And the people say, oh, I don't believe in that. You don't have to believe in it. There are certain laws of the universe. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You reap what you sow, whatever you want to call it. They come back around. I've said this several times in several videos. So how do we change it? We do the right thing. You as an individual decide, I'm going to do the right thing. Right your wrongs. Apologize. If you owe somebody money, pay that person back. Even if you can only pay them $25 or $50 at a time. If you did somebody, apologize. Did wrong by somebody, apologize. If you stole something from them, give it back or apologize. Whatever you need to do to right your wrongs. And then going forward, do the right thing. And that person may not want to deal with you. And that's fine. I remember I reached out to somebody owed me money and never paid it back. And I cut off the friendship. I apologize for the way that I cut off the friendship because it was It was mean. That person never responded. I didn't care because I didn't do it for a response. I did it to satisfy myself. I just said, you know what? I apologize for, cutting you off or whatever the situation was. This was a few years ago. And again, I wasn't looking for a response because I didn't do it for a response. I did it to make peace within myself. Right? And that person owed me money. So I apologize because that is a reason to cut off a friendship. But again, you don't have to be mean about it. You can say, okay, this person dishonored me. I'm going to walk away from that person. But when this person was getting ready to get married and it was like, oh, I'm inviting you to my wedding. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll come if you give me the money you owe me. You don't have to be mean. You could just simply say no. I don't want to. And your reason why, you don't have to, everything doesn't have to be said. But again, sometimes you have to right your wrongs with people. Now, really, he owes me an apology because he borrowed money from me and I really needed it. People always think you have more than you actually do. So they feel like, oh, well, I don't have to give it back to that person because they got it. Or in their mind, they make up that you owe them something for whatever reason that they've made up in their mind that you've never discussed with one another. And again, that's one of the ways we dishonor each other, by not communicating. And communication is one of the biggest things that we need to do. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. As always, I love y'all. And let's get back to, having healthy families, healthy connections, and healthy relationships. Love y'all.